matches which will be played here, and their opponents, Wellington Phoenix, who are more used to changing home grounds than any other A-League outfit, having hosted matches at no fewer than 12 venues across New Zealand. It's a very warm day in this part of Victoria. Temperatures nudging the late 30s. On the pitch, both are in pretty good shape. Western United third, having taken 7 points from their previous 9. And the Phoenix, of course, on that 6-match unbeaten run. They've been knocked out of the top 6 just for the time being, courtesy of the Wanderers' win in Adelaide last night. And these two did meet, of course, in round 1, with United earning their first ever A-League win, courtesy of a Bessart Berisha goal. So as they make their way to the middle, let's check the team news, starting with Western United, who make 3 changes, which includes a starting debut for Dylan Parias, who will play, at least on the team sheet, in the right wing-back role. Aaron Calver is listed as a left-sided central defender as part of a back 3. A first start too for Max Burgess in midfield as he faces his former club, while Scott McDonald returns after missing the last 3 games with an Achilles problem. Ersan Gulam, Dario Yurtets and Panayotis Kone are the absentees today. Andy Durante has recovered from concussion. Josh Risden is still unavailable. There is Scott McDonald. Good to see him back. A lot of speculation about his future over the last few weeks, but lining up in green and black this afternoon. As for the Wellington Phoenix, just the 1 change to their starting 11, and it is enforced as well due to illness to Joshua Sotirio. So Callum McCowart gets the nod. Alex Rufer and Louis Fenton are the long-term Knicks absentees. So Cameron Devlin continues in midfield after 2 outstanding displays, and Tim Payne starts his 7th consecutive match at right back. Not the natural position of the former Blackburn Rovers junior, but he's filled in admirably for Fenton. So that's how they line up on this very warm afternoon in country Victoria. We've got a good crowd on hand as we look across the pitch to the brickworks in the back and beyond. And Western United going through that huddle. Mark Rudin, the head coach, in there as well, but he's just listening in, it appears. And in amongst that huddle, of course, is Bessart Berisha, who today will be looking to score at a 15th A-League venue. He's got 14 goals in 20 matches against Wellington Phoenix, including that round 1 winner in Wellington. The 2 coaches, of course, know each other really well. Mark Rudin and Ufuk Talay, 2 good friends, and played together at both Sydney FC and Avispa Fukuoka in Japan. And of course, they coached together with the Australian junior national teams as well. Bit of news about Mark Rudin's assistants this week. There is speculation that John Hutchinson and John Anastasiadis might both be moving on. Hutchinson back to the USA with Seattle. Anastasiadis potentially to assist Ange Postecoglou in Japan. We'll see if that plays out this week. There's the ladder as it stands at the start of play. Wellington to try and move back into the top 6, and the prize for Western United is 2nd spot, at least for 24 hours. Sydney facing Melbourne City tomorrow. There's Cameron Devlin, who played so well against his former club Sydney FC last week. Big job for him in midfield today to try and keep the likes of Diamante quiet. Easier said than done. So the first ever A-League match to be played in Ballarat is underway. And rather difficult, Andy Harper, to tip a winner, given both are in such good form.
Certainly, and the late escape from Western United last week, very impressively so, away to the Wanderers, should give them confidence coming into this game. Perhaps tempered somewhat by the real resurgence of Wellington Phoenix after a bit of a slow start this season under Ufuk Talay. They're playing some great football, the Knicks, and they will certainly give Western United a big test here today.
Well, there's the first foul of the game, committed by Reno Episcopo on the speedy Dylan Parias, whose job it will be to try and exploit any spaces down the flanks. And he is quick, Parias. I've been impressed with him off the bench. I think it's maybe a good move for Mark Rudin to give him his first start today.
Yeah, he and Max Burgess have been very effective as substitutes, and they get the chance to start today. Rudin mixing things around a little bit, resting some players. The heat is a factor in that consideration. And Rudin, along with most of his team, actually frustrated that they haven't been able to dominate games in recent times the way they set out to. The label of them being pragmatic and defensive doesn't sit too well.
Here's Dylan Parias showing they can attack as well, and forcing the first save out of the game, and a fine one it is too, out of Stefan Marinovic. Almost a goal within 2 minutes on his Western United starting debut for Dylan Parias.
Well, Marinovic started sloppily last week against Sydney, but he's right on his game here early. Cuts inside to Parias nicely. It's a good change of direction and a good effort on goal.
First corner, which is worked short by Diamanti, gets it back off Parias and tries to bend it. Well, you never know with Diamanti whether he's actually going for goal. I'm pretty sure that was angled and aimed towards Andrew Durante, but he's got such talent, the Italian.
Well, he gets incredible angle on those passes. The technique when he contacts the ball imparts so much curl, and then he's got incredible hip rotation, so he gets this incredible whipping action. Very difficult for defenders to accurately know or predict where the ball's going to go. Super player, Diamanti. Looking forward to watching him today.
He'd be good on the dance floor with those snake hips, wouldn't he? The Italian. Here's Reno Piscopo for Wellington Phoenix as they launch their first attack, playing in all yellow today. And McCowart just can't quite stretch to keep that one alive. Young all-white who made his international debut in the recent friendly series, a couple of games against the Republic of Ireland and Lithuania. And he got his first goal in that friendly against the Irish, which ended in a 3-1 loss for New Zealand. But the first tactical question has been answered, Andy. It is a back three for Western United. Maybe a bit of talk about them switching to a back four, but it's Parias and Payne, the two wing-backs. And they're backtracking now as Davila tries to thread it through.
Yeah, I think Mark Ruden's preferred formation is what they've worked on so diligently, is to have three at the back with two wing-backs, but he's very happy to change mid-game if he needs to push players further forward or indeed withdraw players into a more deep position.
So it's left-sided centre-back role today for Aaron Calver, who's done so well in the right wing-back role. Foul on Devlin, incidentally, free kick Wellington. A goal last week to earn the draw against Western Sydney, and an assist for Bessart Barisha the week before that for Calver.
Yeah, he's been in great form. He's had to wait his turn. Connor Chapman's been playing since the start of the season, but been missing the last few weeks. Calver's got his chance, and he's made the most of it.
Overhit by Luke De Vere. Here is the former Sydney FC defender, Aaron Calver. Comfortable enough to stride forward through the defensive lines of Wellington to try and set something up. Breaks here for Diamanti, will loft it over the top for the pace of Parias, and he will be able to keep it in play. The deflection favours Marinovic.
Unfortunately, Diamanti asked a little bit too much of Parias, who then couldn't win the corner. Nearly broke down after that. The attack nearly broke down after that excellent burst from Calver. It sort of was like Simon, he got to the other side of the centre circle and thought, yucks, what do I do now? Keep going, son, that's what you do.
Nosebleed territory, wasn't it?
It was a terrific run from him.
Diamanti chopped down from behind. Matty Steinman thought he made a bit of a meal of that. But he is the most foul player in the competition, Alessandro Diamanti. 36th time he's suffered at the hands of his various opponents. And the penalty for the foul by the German is this free kick. Diamanti signals. His teammates make their move. Durante trying to climb at the back post. McCowart should be able to clear. Breaks here for Cameron Devlin. It's tidy work by the midfielder. McCowart spotted the run of Tim Payne and rewarded it with an accurate release. Behind him is Reno Piscopo. He scored his first Knicks goal last week. Lovely 1-2. Piscopo into the box. It's Ulysses Davila. And it's straight at Curto in the end. But it was a nice flowing move by the Knicks.
That's beautiful play from Wellington. This is just the tail end of it. The switch of play for Payne was as good as anything else in that move. We saw the intricate interplayers that Wellington made their way into the penalty area. Davila just couldn't get the purchase on the shot that was required.
Wellington looking for the foul, but nothing given. United straight forward, but it's just got away from Diamante. And Sean Evans, who incidentally is clocking up 100 A-League games today, will just go and check on the welfare of Reno Piscopo, who felt he should have had the whistle.
And the referee making a judgment from a distance and saying, up you get, let's play on. Sean Evans, a nice touch before the game in acknowledgement of his 100th A-League match. Here's the contact. It's pretty heavy at the end of it, but didn't see a foul in the lead-up.
Well, yes. Skatadis won the ball cleanly. That's pretty obvious.
Yeah, nice touch, Sean Evans. Have his little daughter accompany him on field in her own referee's outfit.
Is that right?
That's right. Indoctrination.
Oh, dear.
Maybe the next Kate Jakovitz.
Birthday present, a set of the laws of the game, eh?
Whistle yourself to sleep at night.
Durante heavy on Davila, but play continues. Good advantage played by Sean Evans. It's Kakache with the cutback. Macau was just stretching. Western United can bring it away through McDonald here. Bright start given the conditions, which are very warm down at pitch side. The surface has been watered pre-game, which, speaking of the coaching staff, they felt was needed to give it a bit of zip. Here's Piscopo. He's been lively early on. Good sliding challenge by Payne. Appeals for handball, though, particularly by Ufuk Talay, who's now involved in a conversation with Kate Jakovitz, the fourth official. Meantime, it's Max Burgess with that languid, loping style of his. He's got such a sweet left peg. Slung into the box by Parias. And did it glance off the head of Payne? Tim Payne, that is. That's going to be interesting today, Harps. Tim Payne against Connor Payne. Only a couple of vowels and a consonant between them.
Payne's in the side.
McDonald. Connor Payne. Burgess spinning clear of Devlin. Going for the return, which was ever so slightly overhit by Diamante.
Unlucky, but again, Burgess busy. Just 9 minutes in. He's had a couple of touches, that little give and go with Diamante. This is a wonderful opportunity for Western United's number 14. Just centre screen there, trying to stop the forward pass out of the Wellington defence. Such a talented player, and there's no reason why he can't grow into one of the league's headline acts, I believe. Very...
Oh, Aaron Calver went straight through. Cameron Devlin, I think, will come back to that. Play continues. Ufuk Talay is incensed again. And Davila's looking to the sideline to say, do you want me to kick it out so we can get some attention for Cameron Devlin? Two former Sydney FC teammates. And Calver goes into the book, and I think he can have few complaints. It was a very, very sturdy challenge, Andy.
Well, he's a little bit miffed that he picked up the card.
Didn't miss.
I don't know. I think he's slightly withdrawn the leg, and he's gone in hard and then realised I'm not going to get there, and I think he's slightly pulled back. That doesn't mean he doesn't get the yellow card. I think good decision by the ref. Again, to his credit for encouraging the play with the advantage rule.
No love lost between the former Sydney FC teammates. Calver, the first caution of the day. This is Stephen Taylor. Scored of that rather unfortunate own goal, which gave Sydney a point last week. It's broken down, though, for Wellington, deep inside their own half of the pitch. And Diamanti on the ball. Taylor atones. Now with McCowan. Ball. Now, the Western United player has gone down heavily in the centre circle. I think they need to kick the ball out here, because I think he's done something really bad there, Dylan Parias. I think it's Parias, isn't it? No, it's...
Is it Brendan Hamill?
Hamill. It is, it's Hamill. And I think this is just an awkward twist. Yeah, the knee's just gone. Oh, dear. Just stretching for the ball, and then as he went to push off again, something's gone in that knee. And that's a horrible sight for a player and a coach. Yeah. I didn't think there would be any possibility. You saw the pain that Hamill was in immediately there as he dropped to the turf. And I think Brendan Hamill is unhappy with the pitch. That's if my lip reading is correct.
Well, he's had to be patient to get back in the team. He was terrific last week in a defensive effort that secured the draw away to Western Sydney Wanderers. Just testing stability of the knee. They've already called the substitution, have the trainers.
Jonathan Aspro, of course, would be the natural replacement. Well, that's a worrying sight for Brendan Hamill. As you rightly pointed out, Andy, he's only just managed to get himself into this team. That knee looks rather unstable, doesn't it? We'll try and get an update. It's the exact nature, but you can see the frustration. You work for weeks to get yourself back in the starting 11, and then something completely innocuous happens like that, and it's the end of the section and maybe out for a while. Let's go down to Archie Thompson, who's pitch side for us this afternoon. Afternoon, Archie.
Hey, Simon. Yeah, it doesn't look really good. I know how hard Hamill's worked off the pitch just to get back on the pitch, and unfortunately that looks like a serious knee injury. You could see the frustration as he was walking off. But the game at the moment, it's got a real high tempo to it. The breeze across makes it really tough. So, and what you don't get to see too is the amount of supporters that are here too. The Wellington, and you've got a whole stand on the back here of the Western United supporters. So it's all good. Unfortunately for Hamill, it's an early night.
Sure is. Thanks very much, Archie. Yeah, the Wellington Phoenix supporters came here via bus. Well, not all the way from Wellington, of course, but from the airport.
You never know. You never know.
That's true. There's a fair few of them here away to the left. Just to echo those thoughts, we wish Brendan Hamill all the best. Jonathan Aspro Potomitis is with us. He's played just 15 minutes in 2 substitute appearances for the club so far this season.
He's had his own knee trouble. Knee reconstruction kept him out for a while.
Here's Diamanti. Talking about knees, Andy, Luke De Vere might be treading carefully if the pitch is a concern for the players, which Hamill seemed to indicate that it might have been. He's had terrible problems, hasn't he? You know what, credit to the Wellington Phoenix medical team. De Vere played only 5 games for Brisbane last season, had a succession of injury issues. Maybe form had a bit to do with it as well, but he's played every minute so far this season for the Phoenix.
Well, you have to say something just on the back of that. Credit to Ufuk Talay. Did he take a pump that's paid off? Did he know something no one else did about Luke De Vere? Because great talent Luke has been, but crawled by those series of injuries. We never really saw his career develop. And Ufuk Talay throws him a lifeline. And this player who's not been able to put games together has not missed a minute all season. And not only just not missed a minute, he's been outstanding for the Knicks. Another good bit of work for Ufuk Talay.
Touch around the corner by McDonald. Connor Payne careers into Tim Payne. Devlin gets the decision. There's some noise being made around the stadium by the Western service crew. Redden, of course, former Wellington coach, took them to the finals last year before returning to Australia in the off-season. Got a bit of heat on his return to Wellington back in round one. A bit friendlier today. Here's Davila. McCoward. Misses out Piscopo to find Kakachi. Fires it across, and David Ball swung a leg at it. Just couldn't make the contact, but it was a dangerous cross from Kakachi.
That was pretty reactive defending from the Western United as well. Kakachi's a really dangerous left fullback, arguably the most dangerous in the comp. Such a young player, but so strong and so purposeful going forward. You'd be putting more pressure on him on the edge of the box than Western did then. Well, that cross might have fallen a little more favourably for Ball.
Here's Piscopo. Piscopo! Oh, just right. With Curto seemingly beaten. The Olyroos couldn't hit the target. Western United too casual in turning the ball over there in their own half of the pitch. Very nearly made to pay the full price. Here's Diamante. Good work by Skotadis to find the space. But Burgess has rather messed things up for the home side.
This is the shot on goal from Piscopo. Great effort. He's really growing every week.
Didn't just get his first goal for the club last week, Reno Piscopo, but also claimed an assist for Ulysses Davila's second goal for the club. Piscopo involved again. Curto out to play sweeper keeper. Another former Wellington player. Got a few in their starting lineup today, of course. Mark Rudin, who raided his old club during the off-season. Also picked up Durante and Burgess. Kakachi. Just waiting for an option to present itself. Piscopo got a bit fortunate there, but got clear of Aspro Potomitis. Now it's with Davila on the left. Looking to pick out Ball on the near post, but Wellington get a corner off Parias.
Too much speed in recovery. Parias. Davila dallied. So dangerous is the Mexican. But the ground was swallowed up by this super athlete, Parias.
Western United have made a habit of falling behind in games. They conceded the opening goal in 8 of their 11 A-League matches so far. Wellington have had a couple of sighters through Davila and Piscopo. They've got this corner now. And Luke De Vere got a clean head on it, but couldn't find the target. Scored too many A-League goals. Luke De Vere just 5 in 120 games.
Well, he's committed, which means it's really difficult for him to pull out of that effort. But behind him is Stephen Taylor.
They come again, and Devlin's shot was actually deflected by his own teammate, Davila, inadvertently. Western United have been caught a couple of times trying to play out through the lines. Here's Jerry Skotadis. Diamante. They're foraging well for possession, Wellington, in midfield. Diamante stayed down. Maybe another injury concern for Rudin, or maybe it's just a lace that's come undone. That's a very strong challenge by Skotadis, and that's angered some of the Wellington players. Stephen Taylor and Cameron Devlin across immediately. Connor Payne comes to his team's rescue. Bassat Barisha, of course, is in there. This time playing peacemaker.
Look at Cameron Devlin. Right. Now, before Skotadis goes down, Devlin's suffering from the red mist. There's a little forearm in there, and Devlin sees it.
Well,
and he charges in. And then Skotadis goes down and Devlin comes in onto the precept of, I'm just seeing if you're all right. But he was going to give him a mouthful. Make no mistake about that.
I'll tell you what, Jerry Skotadis could be in a bit of trouble here. If that is construed as violent play, that forearm across the head of David Ball has left him with a bit of a headache, and Sean Evans potentially too. All rather unnecessary. Checking all the teeth are still there. And this break will give Sean Evans a good opportunity to have a bit of a conflab with Craig Zetter, who's in the VAR booth today. See if any further action needs to be taken.
Well, here's the aftermath. Devlin now. Bassat Barisha was sensing trouble as well. And Devlin, I'm just coming in to see if he's okay, but before Skotadis had hit the turf, I'd almost put everything I have on the fact that Devlin was going to stir up a bit of heat.
No further action required. Devlin floats the free kick forward, but Tim Payne couldn't bring it under his spell. Here's that little incident again involving Ball and Skotadis. He does clatter into the back of him. Is there any further action that's required there, in your opinion, Harps, or not? Am I making too much of that?
No, I wouldn't say that. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but ref had a clear view of it. He's made the judgment. Interesting that it was Skotadis who hit the turf hurt after he was the one meting out the physicality.
Anyway, on we go. This is Andrew Durante. Suffered a whack to the head himself last week. Tasked fit to play despite suffering a bit of concussion. Holding by Devlin, who's really been in the thick of it, hasn't he, against Diamante.
This is a great score the youngster's going to get against Diamante. Look at the lean. And then the stumble to make it look like I'm being fouled. Sometimes he is, sometimes he isn't.
Dylan Parias goes away from a defender and was looking to bend it, I'm pretty sure, into that top right-hand corner. Didn't quite work out for him. And he's an exciting prospect, Dylan Parias, still just 19.
Well, he's had a similar angle and did much better. And Simon, he did find the top right-hand corner, but of the director's box.
First start for Western United, only his second A-League start overall. Previous one was for Melbourne City back in February 2017. So Carroll wait between drinks. Took a ride on his opponent Piscopo there though. Here's Ulysses Davila. Kakache. Steinman forwards. Piscopo back. And Luke De Vere. Escobar losing out. Burgess. Good challenge by Steinman. That's what he's there for. David Ball. Davila, they're building nicely again here, Wellington. Well, not quite. Matty Steinman still waiting for his first Wellington Phoenix goal, but again it was very neat and tidy in construction.
Well, they like it when it's tight and the passes are short. And they bounce off each other nicely. They're really starting to find this season some good rhythm. Escobar and Davila combining nicely, and unfortunately Steinman hits a poor one, but his season has grown as well. He started slowly, the German. He's been very impressive the last 3 to 4 weeks.
Jonathan Aspro. Scotardis couldn't really do much else but give it back to Durante. Come Wellington again. You can hear the instruction from Ufuk Talay. Get up, try and pressure Western United into a mistake. There we go. They've turned the ball over, but unfairly. And Talay is absolutely cooking with that decision. And not just because it's about 38 degrees and he's wearing his jacket.
It's his battle armour, he calls it.
Stops the Ange Postecoglou type sweat patches on the shirt, I guess.
I would suggest it only exacerbates them. We just don't get to see it.
That's true. Calvert. Scotardis. Turning away from ball. Again, the instruction is to push up for Wellington Phoenix. Force the turnover through Kakache. They can try and get their slick passing game going, and they've I was about to say they've opened up a bit of space, but the bounce just deceived Kakache, and it was handball.
Unfortunate. They're really impressive at the moment, Wellington, defending on the front foot. Coach barking at them to be aggressive without the ball. No retreating at all from this Wellington team. They look really good at the moment.
Connor Payne, McDonald, Scotardis. Worked it out at the outside of the boot towards Parias. Plenty forward in this attack for Western United. Parias fires it onto the roof of the goal. Marinovic worried just for a second, but it's behind for a goal kick. Let's go down to Archie Thompson. What's the atmosphere like down there, Archie?
Yeah, there's a great little Western United crowd just behind the bench here, and they're very, very vocal. Not much to sing about with the actual performance of Western United, just purely for the fact that Wellington have really set up and smothered anything, but really, really vocal, very vocal.
Good stuff. Thank you very much, Archie. And the other Western service crew looking to grow in numbers, of course, over the next few seasons before they get that purpose-built stadium in Tarneit, as referee Sean Evans blows the whistle so that the players can take drinks on this hot day, and a chance for us to reflect on what we've seen so far, Andy Harper, which has been some good signs for Western United, but mainly at the other end some crisp interplay by those front 3 or 4 for Wellington Phoenix.
Yeah, that the Wellington Phoenix have had the better of the game, and Devlin has come in the last few weeks with the absence of the excellent Rufer, and you'd have to reckon that Rufer's going to have to take a ticket and wait to get back into the team now. That's how well Cameron Devlin is playing, and he's come out of that Sydney FC juggernaut team of midfield, of watching Brandon O'Neill do his thing, Josh Brillante, Paolo Retre when he's been called upon, Caceres, and he's really learnt to craft well off those fantastic players. What great role models. and Devlin has not missed a beat since Ufuk Talay has thrown him in. Rufer's been outstanding, and all the expectation was that Wellington might come back a little bit without Rufer playing because he was so good and so dominant. And Ufuk Talay now has that delightful problem as a coach. How do I get all these good players into my team? Because the way he's going at the moment, Cameron Devlin can't be dropped from the side. He's been fantastic again here today. Small of stature, or smallish, not the smallest player in the league, but there's not a lot of him. But he's a very clever player. The way he positions himself, the way he engages opponents, a little bit of irritability here and there, a bit of niggle there, gets under people's skin and plays very craftily with the ball. I tell you what, the youngster's making the very most of the opportunity he's got at the moment. Well done to him.
And Wellington continue their recovery from that slow start to the campaign. They were bottom after 4 rounds of the new season. Mark Ruden's already been forced into a reshuffle, of course, with the injury to Brendan Hamill early on in the game. Jonathan Aspro called off the bench, but this the start of a period of games for Wellington Phoenix in which, after this ended, they faced the 4 bottom teams currently in the A-League in January, and Talay has targeted 12 points out of this little sequence of 5 matches, and if they get those 12, well, they'll be pretty much on course, you'd think, for at the bare minimum a top 6 finish, maybe top 4.
Well, they're playing well enough to have those dreams and aspirations, but I tell you, it's a bit of quicksand, Simon. If teams in the A-League start looking at the upcoming draw and pitting themselves against teams below them and banking the 3 points, how many banana skins do we see in this comp?
Never any guarantees. Here's Burgess. Oh! Goodness me. That was travelling, and it glanced off the base of the post with Marinovic beaten.
And from the restart, Wellington, strangely, for the first time, slow, out of the blocks. And Burgess, a beautiful give and go, and he decides to shoot from distance. A good tactic, beats the keeper, can't beat the post.
Western United's best effort of the game so far, without a doubt. Davila dragged down. Skotadis perhaps walking the tightrope. Yeah, card pops up.
Well, can I congratulate the referee? A lot wouldn't punish that with the yellow card, but Skotadis has quite clearly gone in to stop an attack and not win the ball. Davila would have been away, and congratulations, Sean Evans, for saying, I'm not having that on my watch. Fans have come to watch the ball move and players run.
Davila, bit of space for the Mexican, which might be costly. The commentator's curse returns.
What I think is fair to say is that Western United be very grateful that Davila is slightly off his top form. He's been great as this season has developed for Wellington Phoenix. And if he'd been at top tilt so far today, I reckon Western United would be chasing the game. But his couple of passes, not quite of his best. Maybe he's finding the conditions a little bit difficult. Maybe it's just one of those days for him.
Tim Tane being ushered back.
There's that yellow card. It's a great decision from the ref. No patience, no effort to win the ball at all. And now Skotadis is on that tightrope.
To be honest, I thought he was lucky to escape earlier on. It's coming together with David Ball, but anyway, he's in the book now. Here's Taylor. Intelligently off the chest of Davila for Callum McCower. He's tussling with Skotadis for the ball. Devlin in there too, and he's come away with... Oh, Skotadis has got to be careful here.
No, there's nothing in that apart from the fact that Devlin has run across him to win the foul. Again, it's the cleverness of Devlin. There's nothing... And look, Diamante, that's one of my tricks. That's one of my tricks, you little devil.
You little Devlin.
You little Devlin. Sloppy from McGower, but he's in there ferreting. And then he senses, and he lunges. He just forces the contact from Skotadis. I can't punish the Western player there with anything more than a free kick.
That's the verdict of Sean Evans.
But again, the smarts, the game smarts of Devlin. Just in there ferreting away, pinches the ball, and then draws the foul.
So an opportunity for the Phoenix. Ulysses Davila has been waved away by Piscopo. All the tall timber looking to attack at the back post. Philip Curto, all in red, on red alert. Devere and Taylor looking to attack at the back post. It goes to that sort of an area. Oh, Curto's missed it. Getting cleared by Berisha. We barely sighted in an attacking sense. Davila went down. Oh, and so too did Ball. Payne just mistimed. In fact, Sean Evans has opted to book Connor Payne. I mean, no question it was a foul.
Well, it's a great header defensively. No, that's late. And it's a yellow card, and I'm blowing up if I'm David Ball as well. They're under the pump, Western. After the drinks break, immediately after the drinks break, they had that, or their best chance, when the post was hit by the Burgess shot, but having then been stung back into action, Wellington straight back into gear thereafter. Totally dominating and causing all sorts of grief for Western United.
And this is the side of the penalty area that, of course, suits down to a T the left-footed Ulysses Davila. What has he got in this kit bag here? Piscopo there as well, just to keep Western United guessing. Wall of three, guarding the near post of Philip Curto. It is Ulysses Davila, and it's easy pickings at the end for Philip Curto. Sort of underlines your point, Andy, about Davila not quite being on top of his game.
Look, he's still dangerous, and it's not as though he's playing poorly. We should state that for the record. But he's not had that special spark today that he's had in recent weeks. Far off it, mind you. Western best warned not to take their eye off him.
Spro. Burgess. He's come as close as anyone to breaking the deadlock. Gets away from McDonald. Just back in the team after that Achilles problem. Scooped forward by Marinovic off the head of McCowart. It's the Phoenix who are penalised. Burgess. Slightly behind Scott McDonald. The touch by Ball for Wellington. Davila. Pirouette to get rid of Aspro. Kakache. Now David Ball. Able to turn and run at Durante. It's David Ball, and they've got a touch, I think, Curto. Really good stop to prevent the Englishman from giving Wellington the lead.
It was a brilliant save. And this is Davila dragging Aspro out of that right centre-back defence position, which opens the space for Ball. That's where Aspro would be. Ball receives, turns and takes on Durante. Not an easy thing to do. But then it's a brilliant pinky save from Curto.
That's high as the A-League goalkeeper of the year. 5 minutes to go before the break. Davila's corner. Break here for Devlin, but not quite. Western United looking to spring a counter-attack. They get a lucky ricochet, which favours Max Burgess, but he's not really got a lot of help. Devlin is biting in the challenge.
Would have liked Max Burgess to test Luke De Vere there. Run him right up the line. The delay by De Vere was enough for Devlin to nip him.
Look at that touch from Davila to get rid of Aaron Calver. Now they're chasing the Mexican. Still with Davila. Squares it up, and there's the opening goal now. David Ball, denied by Philip Curto superbly some moments ago. Not to be denied this time. and Wellington hit the front, much to the delight of the travelling fans.
Well, I think this one partly starts by Max Burgess not running the ball up the line. Devlin with the turnover, brilliant turn there. And this is the bit of magic that Ulysses Davila can present. And what he really enjoys, the recovery from Skatatas, is to the point where Davila can feel him. He knows where the trouble is. That's his comfort zone now. I know where the defenders are exactly, and I know where I can thread this pass, which he does beautifully. And La Cucaracha dances magnificently through to give Ball the tap in.
His second A-League goal, and the Englishman and Wellington having a ball in Ballarat. And on balance, I think they probably feel they deserve that advantage. And it is the 9th time in 12 A-League games that Western United have fallen behind. And nobody in the A-League this season has picked up more points from losing positions than Western United so far this season. 10 in total. So still a long way to go here in Ballarat. But they get their reward, Andy, the Knicks.
Well, they're in great nicks at the moment, Wellington. Just playing some great football. Really well organised, proactive team, fabulous mentality, clever touches.
Here's Diamante trying to show something similar. Kakachi with an important intervention. Off the head of Aspro, drops for Davila. You can see what he was trying to do. And the ball just did hold up a little bit. It's thumped back upfield by Philip Curto. And Marinovic had to scamper away to prevent the corner. Look at that for a turn.
Beautiful turn.
Terrific.
Away he goes. And this is what he loves. Skatatas will learn from this. These players have loved the close contact. It gives them a point of reference.
David Ball, the profiteer from Davila's excellent work, just when we'd said he wasn't quite at the races, the Mexican. David Ball, who was once nominated for a Puskas Award back in 2015. Absolutely spectacular goal he scored that day for Fleetwood Town against Preston. The one today not quite as impressive, but arguably just as important. That's a clear infringement on Piraeus.
And just for reference, context sign, the Puskas Award after the great Hungarian Ferenc Puskas for the goal nominated to be the best goal on the planet in any calendar year.
Our own Riley McGree, of course, nominated for that.
For the scorpion kick.
Reno Piscopo booked for the foul on Piraeus.
That was a lot of forethought in that from Piscopo either.
Here's Connor Payne, tempting cross, up in the air it goes off Matty Steinman. Scott McDonald on the volley, but Marinovic had the angles covered. It did take a touch though on the way through. Western United will have a corner.
Wellington need to concentrate. Their excellent first half to come undone with the lapse here, and the tall timbers amassed for Western.
Diamante's delivering off the head of Kakachi. Back in by Aspro. Worked out by McDonald. Diamante again. Glanced on by Durante, but Berisha couldn't apply the finishing touch at the back post.
Well, again, Simon, just as we approach half-time, there'll be extra, obviously, for a couple of stoppages and injury to Brendan Hamill in the drinks break, but it's like an oven here at the Eureka Stadium. The players, you wouldn't know it, they've really put in, again, as we saw last night in Adelaide. A dry head, at least, doesn't seem to be a factor for these A-League players. They just run through it. Great intensity to this game.
Here's the man whose goal separates the teams, David Ball, finding Reno Piscopo on the left into the first of 3 additional minutes. Up in the air it goes for Davila, and use of the arm to try and control the ball.
Well, you can see, not on his general performance today, but on the goal moment, the quality that Chelsea Football Club saw in Davila, not because he uses his hands when he should. But it's a great piece of scouting and recruiting from Ufuk Talay and the Wellington Phoenix.
I should remember he was once selected for Mexico Copa America squad back in 2011. Among his teammates in that squad, likes of Giovanni Dos Santos. He's a quality player. This is Connor Payne. Looking to take on McCowart. Finds the angle for the cross, and Rice was drawn towards the ball.
Misread it badly. The youngster now, Kakachi, has misread that. Yeah, that was a good cross from Connor Payne. Rice just didn't read it at all well. That's a one-step jump and meet the ball. You're not running into the ball at the back post at that point.
Darius. Scooped away by De Vere. Rodan's going to have to get a little bit more out of his charges in the second half. Aspro. Diamanti. Easy for Marinovic. I'm not sure we've mentioned Besart Brescia's name more than once or twice in this first half.
Nor Scott McDonald.
Which is telling.
Yeah, found it very difficult. I mean, it's been Wellington's half. They've bossed the field, controlled the flow of the play, had more attacks on goal, been stronger in the tackle, been more together as a team.
Scott McDonald losing his footing and his bearings. Davila.
I think Ruben will make a couple of changes at half-time, actually, Simon. Tets might get a run just to get some settled possession in midfield. Skatardis on that yellow card as well. Might have been worse, as you've highlighted. I'd be surprised if Mark Rudan goes to the bench at half-time.
We will hope they're not 2 goals down by then, because Kakachi's on the charge here and slides it through, looking for McCowart.
That was good tracking back from Skatardis then. For Weston to block that pass from Kakachi.
And that is half-time in Ballarat. Very enjoyable first 45, particularly if you're a Wellington Phoenix supporter, because it's the visitors who lead, thanks to David Ball's second A-League goal, beautifully assisted by Ulysses Davila, and it has been the visitors who've been on top by and large. At the other end, Max Burgess did strike the base of the post for Western United, but Mark Rudan will need to get a lot more out of his charges second half because of the break. They trail the home team. It's Western United 0, Wellington Phoenix 1. Let's go down to Archie Thompson.
Yeah, he or Connor Payne, mate. Pretty disappointed with that first half?
Yeah, sure. All over the park, myself included. We've got to be better, move the ball quicker, and make some more chance for ourselves.
Yeah, the way you conceded. You were going forward, and then you had about 3 or 4 players around the ball in the penalty box and still managed to stop it.
Yeah, look, our defence has been quality all year, but shame that we sort of fell asleep on that one. Obviously, have the ball in the front third and end up conceding a goal from a throw-in that we had. So, yeah, extremely disappointing. We'll go in there and listen to the boss and hope to come out the second half a better side.
Okay, best of luck, mate.
Cheers.
Dave, you must be pleased with the way your team set up. It seemed to smother Western United.
Yeah, I think so. I think we obviously smother them in central areas and not letting people get between the lines, and then on the counter-attack we've had some good opportunities and obviously got the goal.
Yeah, it must be pleasing to get on the score, mate.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, to help the team, and that's my job, so yeah, I'm delighted.
Okay, best of luck for this. Cheers, mate. Yep, yep.
Enjoy, mate. Thanks for coming up and enjoy the second half like everybody else. And thanks for coming on. Don't forget to still get the nippers, chips outside the front gate and all the merchandise as well. Just like Harden with that beautiful scarf from the Santa under his tree this year. Big second half coming your way. Stay with us.
Yep. Well, I think all over the pitch, but obviously just walking on it, it's actually quite firm. And I just spoke to one of the players as they were warming up, and I just said, look, how's the pitch? Is it quite firm? And they said, yeah, really hard underfoot. And that's sometimes what can happen. I mean, knee injuries, I've had them in the past, can be very inconspicuous, where you know, it might be just a little jig of it, or your foot gets caught in the ground. And with hard grounds, I think it's a little bit more common. You seem to see it a lot with AFL players, just getting their knees jarred. So with, unfortunately, Hamill, it looks like that he's done his knee, and yeah, it is quite hard. I know that they're going to water it again, purely for the fact that the ball to move, but it's still, for a player, it's quite tough. Sorry, I haven't got a key. Sorry, I haven't got the key to put in. I know, I'm looking. Mate, oh, hang on, here we got one. I got the key. I mean, sorry, Hyundai. Yeah, it's firm. It's firm. Cheers, guys.
Well, in the heat of Ballarat, it is a Mancunian who's had the biggest say so far. David Ball, with a little help from a Mexican, Ulises Davila, and these Western United fans are hoping that their team can launch a bit of a comeback in the second half. They've made a habit of doing so. They've won 10 points from losing position so far this season. Let's speak now to Western United head coach Mark Rudin, who's been good enough to join us. Rudes, thanks for your time. Your assessment of that first half from your team's point of view?
Yeah, I thought we were quite good in terms of what we wanted to do. We pressed higher and our shape was quite good. We kept the ball quite well too, but unfortunately, on 2 occasions, we had possession of the ball and we got done in the counter-attack, so our rest of the defence has to be better. Any
other tweaks for your side in the second half?
No, all the same, all the same.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate your time.
Okay, see ya.
Words of Mark Rudin. As for Wellington Phoenix, they haven't won in this part of the world, this state, Victoria, since round 25, 16-17. That's a 10-match sequence. But so far, Ufuk Talay has done a bit of a job. One of his best mates in football, as you could probably say, did against another one of his friends, Steve Corica, last week against Sydney FC. They've had a good game plan. And so far, they've executed it to perfection. What can Mark Rudin's team do to turn things around? So to the sounds of Steppenwolf's Born to be Wild, we get the second half underway. And these rather wild conditions. There is a bit of a breeze around, but it's the heat really that has been a problem for the players. And despite that, they've put on a very good show, these two, Andy Harper. First 45.
Yeah, it was an excellent first half, particularly by Wellington. Western found it difficult to get into real rhythm. A lot of room for improvement, which I guess provides encouragement for Coach Rudin.
Reminder of the Western United lineup, which is now, of course, shorn of Brendan Hamill after he went off with a knee injury in the first half. Jonathan Aspro-Potamitis, his replacement. Bessar Berisha has probably had more touches at the start of this second half than he's had in the entirety of the first. And he's linked up with Skotadis, then McDonald. Here's Diamanti. Looks good, this, for Western United. Diamanti. Well, they couldn't hit the target, but up until that point, it all looked pretty good for the home side.
Yeah, it was better. Worked the ball really nicely. It's a little angle into Diamanti, surrounded by players, and Wellington couldn't quite muster the intensity, couldn't get close enough, and that's scoring range, definitely. Frustrated he didn't hit the target there, the Italian.
Sorting out the socks and the shin pads. There's an urgency about Western United at the outset of this second period. Let's see if it pays dividends for them. This is Aaron Calver. He's not been afraid to carry the ball forward, finding pain, and as he looked to further help it on towards McDonald, he was perhaps a touch off balance. And he found the gloves of Marinovic. It's been a good touch, actually, Connor Payne, in recent weeks. 1 goal and 2 assists in his last 3. Set up that Aaron Calver equaliser against Western Sydney last week beautifully with a delivery from the left flank. Steinman has lost out in midfield to Diamanti. Max Burgess on the right, but heavily left-footed. Couple of step-overs, decent cross. Should have been the equaliser, but for a brilliant stop from Stefan Marinovic to deny Scott McDonald just his second goal for Western United.
Well, it was a lovely run by Burgess. He carried the ball at pace and deep into Wellington territory.
Meantime, corner's been worked short. Skotadis slings it into the box. Volleyed up and away by Cameron Devlin. Coward keeping Skotadis honest in the aerial duel. Connor Payne gets Western United moving forward again quickly. Berisha dropping deeper to get a feel of the ball at the start of this second half. McDonald. Burgess. McDonald again. Broken up by Ulises Davila. Lovely little pirouette by the Mexican. But then out-muscled by Burgess. Helped out briefly by Steinman.
It was a great little period this out of this second half for Western United. 2 great chances to score and coming again.
Out of the blocks very quickly. And Marinovic not quite able to prevent the corner, which will keep up the pressure on the Phoenix. And a fine stop again by the New Zealand international goalkeeper some minutes ago.
Unfortunately, Perez couldn't get the ball around Kakachi.
Corner by Diamante, angled towards Aspro. A little pop here for Skotadis, whose shot was pretty sure off target. Berisha can't dig it out. Now it's with Davila. As Wellington look to flood forward, but David Ball's just going to have to check and hold for Wellington.
Well, they'll enjoy the respite, Wellington. It's been, since the restart, 5 minutes of constant pressure applied by Western. They've just dropped off here to give Piscopo this good space in midfield.
Works it wide for Ball. McCowett onside. And the cutback was intended for Piscopo. Up in the air it goes off the boot of Skotadis. McDonald keeps it in play. Calver to switch the play. Perez. Wellington Phoenix looking to extend their unbeaten run to 7 matches in the A-League. They will return to the top 6 if they're successful tonight. And deny Western United the opportunity to move up into 2nd. There is that 6-game unbeaten run. Some impressive results in there as well. All their 3 wins this season have come by a 2-1 scoreline. Draws against Melbourne Victory twice and once against Sydney FC last week. Here's Parias. Burgess. Touched by Diamante. Skotadis. Square by Aspro for Durante. Spent 11 years, of course, playing in the yellow and black of Wellington Phoenix. Very much a club legend there. Calver. Skotadis. Heavy first touch. Now Davila. These transitional moments could be key. McCowett, Ball having a check back onside. Davila is free. Calling for the ball and gets it. And sort of outfoxed himself, really. Parias. Piscopo back to double up and help out Kakache, but it's with McDonald. It's just a bit too strong to Berisha. Awkward to control.
Well, Mark Rutten sounded pretty satisfied with his team's first half. But I'd say he'd be delighted with the way they've started the second half. They've controlled the ball really nicely. 2 good chances to score.
So far unable to breach Stefan Marinovic's goal. Now Wellington looking to move forward through McCowett in the central position. Wide right is Tim Payne. Looking for the give and go with David Ball. They'll have to come back through Cameron Devlin. Piscopo again. And Ball. Davila. And it's that neat little combination. Kakache. Touch forward by Steinman, almost catching Devlin off guard. In fact, he's been run out of it, but unfairly, in the opinion of Sean Evans, by Diamante.
Well, he got away with one there, I think. Devlin, I thought he looked like he'd lost control of that ball.
I'm with you.
Without help.
Yeah,
He's lost the ball. No, I'm not rewarding poor control there with a foul on Diamante. At any rate, he's been again outstanding today. Maybe he's earned that little favour. He can smile about it.
Why not? The sort of form he's in at the moment. Arguably man of the match displays in the last 2 matches. Set piece opportunity for the Knicks. Maybe a bit far out for Davila to have a crack on goal. He clips it up towards the back post, where he only finds Aspro. Back through Payne. Easy win in the air for Aspro, but returned by Piscopo. Now it's Ball. Still David Ball. Diamante has potentially put his team back in trouble, but they sort things out, Western United. Berisha battling for front position with De Vere. Wasn't able to get there. Piscopo around Parias with ease. Wellington threatening again, and it drops in from McCallum, who latches it in from close range. His first A-League goal, and Wellington are 2 clear.
Well, this goal had so many impressive component parts to it. And Western United's very bright start to this second half has been cut off at the knees by this excellent goal. Ball forward from Parias. Look at the component parts. Strength from De Vere to get rid of the Berisha threat. A speed in the dribble, a change in direction, and great purpose and penetration. And then the instinctive finish. A little bit of a touch off Aspro on the way. But McGowan with a beauty, really, for the youngster. Just to aim for goal, back yourself, back your radar and fire it home. Wellington 2 up. What a performance from the Knicks so far.
And what a moment for the 20-year-old Callum McCowart, who got his first international goal before he scored in the domestic competition. But he's just put that right. The young kid who grew up, Andy, I don't know if you know this, with a poster of Ryan Nelson on his wall. The All Whites legend, who of course played in the Premier League for Blackburn, set his achievements as a target, and the way he's going at the moment, he's on track. Still very early on in his career, but what a breakthrough campaign he's having.
Well, I don't know that Ryan Nelson scored many goals like that.
No, that's true. Here's Berisha trying to set things back on more of an even keel for Western United, who were really stung by that second goal just as they were starting to build a case. Lovely touch again by Davila. He's such a good player.
Well, he's got the taste for it at the moment. So too Piscopo. And, you know, as a measure of the coach, in any situation, in this case it's Ufuk Talay, how he brings players along for the ride in the season. And Wellington started, it didn't really get together yet, the team, and new players not gelling. And you look at them now, Piscopo brought in, gradually integrated into the team, and that run from him to set up that goal was brilliant. Davila, we've spoken at length about. Steinman as well. Devlin's transition to a first-team player for Wellington has been completely seamless. And it reflects very, very well on rookie head coach Ufuk Talay.
Off the head of David Ball. Drop here for Piscopo. And Durante had his arms all over Davila. Wellington want to take the free kick quickly, but Sean Evans isn't going to let them. As we have this little mini break and watch this challenge by Durante again, I can tell you the crowd figure today has been confirmed as 5,084. And given it's a first home match in Ballarat and the hot temperatures, Western United say they're very, very pleased with that figure.
Well, obviously they haven't got their own ground yet, but this is not a I'll still respect you in the morning moment for Ballarat. This is part of their catchment.
Yep.
And they'll be working this part of Victoria very hard as they see it as Western United, and good luck to them, to the fans for turning out. It's been a good game. The home team struggling at the moment by comparison, obviously.
Stephen Taylor. Payne. Back by McCowett to the veteran Englishman. Steinman. Taylor again. Frenchman by Calver on ball.
David Ball, he's only got a couple of goals this year, but of all the players who's come in, he's impressed from day one. And that's such a clever player. It's not the quickest going around, and maybe that brings him, it doesn't allow him to maximise some of his very clever positional play at times, and beautiful technique with the ball.
He's also a workhorse, isn't he? Aaron Calver's got a problem. Well, Western United about to lose a second central defender on the day to injury.
Well, after nearly kicking his head off in the first half, or having his head kicked off, goes over to see if his mate's okay. I'd suggest not, given that Calver's hit the turf and needs attention.
Could this prove to be a very costly day for Mark Ruda? Not just potentially the loss of 3 points, maybe the loss of 2 central defenders to injury issues as well. Yeah, he's signalled immediately. That's me done, boss. Looks like it's the right ankle. It's good to see. Cameron Devlin, they were fierce combatants in the first half, but they're good mates from their time together in the Harbour City.
Just as a crutch, not quite making it up to the armpit, which makes the work a little more difficult. Got to have scoliosis before he finishes. Aaron Calver. It's more like. Oh, we can laugh. I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, Hamill, big blow. He's taken his time to get into the team, and Calver as well has had to sweat and wait. Been sensational for Western since earning the starting berth, and now he's assisted from the field. It's not going to plan for Mark Rudan at the moment.
So Dario Yurtets has been told to warm up very, very quickly and get ready. Does that mean a change of formation to a back 4 with Aspro and Durante as the 2 central defenders? Payne and Parias on the flanks. Yurtets in his more usual midfield role, we shall see. Meantime, Western United are short-handed, and Reno Piscopo looking to make them pay. That is well off beat with this shot on the Western United goal.
That's a disappointing finish, really. Again, he skipped into space nicely. Plenty of opportunity to line that one up.
So Dario Yurtets, the Croatian, is with us. And straight into the action. We did speculate before the game whether they might start with a back 4. It's pretty certain they've gone to 1 now. Western United, that's a lovely touch by Diamanti. He had no right really to reel that in, and he releases Payne. Tim Payne back to cover him. Diamanti looking for Parias. Oh, it was beautifully found as well, Dylan Parias, but he got the shot horribly wrong. But 2 wonderful pieces of skill from Diamanti.
These are these balls with the wicked curl on it. Just a breakdown in technique. Horribly so for Dylan Parias.
Technique letting Dylan Parias down. A little glimpse of just what Alessandro Diamanti can bring.
So, Simon, into context, down 1-0 at half-time. Western United really pushing hard for the first 10 minutes, and that's a great chance for Scott McDonald. Given his goal-scoring record at senior club football, that should have been 1-1, and the context is it wasn't 1-1, and McCowett makes it 2-0. Games change very quickly. Great goal from Wellington. Western United have thrown them that lifeline with their own wastefulness.
See what they could do with this one. It's Dario Yurtets can have a go. It's a really lame effort at the end from the substitute. Let's go down to Archie Thompson. What's your view, Archie?
Yeah, what's really noticeable is as soon as that second goal went in, the Western United bench just deflated. But what's really noticeable is Uful Tale is marching up and down his bench there. It's almost like his team is the orchestra and he's the conductor. The way that he's saying pass the ball, switch in and out, it's just beautiful to watch. This is probably one of the best Wellington football teams I've seen in my time in the A.
Well, he's certainly dressed for the occasion as the conductor, isn't he? He's just missing the baton.
Well, Rudin passed him the baton. Wellington.
Lovely arms.
Probably wishing he hasn't now.
Here's David Ball. Sat nicely for him. And looked to shoot across Philip Curtos. The right idea. Very narrow angle.
Yeah, Aspro just getting it wrong for offside. That would have been play on, and you can't blame Ball for instinctively shooting on the turn. Actually, given the rap I have on him, I was expecting him to at least force a save there. Shot going across the keeper and to safety from a Western viewpoint.
Here's Parias. Looking to attack Kakachu, stands him up with ease. Well defended. Growing in stature and playing against one of his heroes today in Alessandro Diamanti. Italian heritage, of course, Kakachu. Here is the Italian. Oh, dearie me, he's put that one almost out of the ground. Ball boy's got a long chase and fetch.
To me, this is Diamanti tightening with the burden of trying to get his team out of this. He's just got an incredible technique. And 9 times out of 10, that would at least trouble the goalkeeper. But that one was sailing all the way to Bendigo. I don't really know where Bendigo is from here, so.
You're looking at me. Western United have got just under 25 minutes to try and turn this around. Came from behind last week against the Wanderers, but that was only a 1-goal deficit. Today they're chasing 2. Little step over from Burgess. He's been impressive in patches. Berisha. Burgess again. Attack defence from Wellington Phoenix. Yurtets. Find the key to unlock the door. Not like that, they won't, through Aspro.
That's frustrating passage of play for Western. Set it up nicely. Wellington contracted again and filled the holes defensively. Forced Western out again, and Aspro lets it all off with a poor pass.
Stefan Marinovic being given the hurry up by Sean Evans. First of a double header, of course, in the A-League today. Newcastle, Brisbane later. One of those statistical anomalies of the A-League. It's the fixture that the away team always wins, that one. Let's see if that pattern continues. 2 teams in desperate need of a result. And tomorrow it's that top-of-the-table clash between Sydney and Melbourne City. And then the traditional New Year's Eve game between the Mariners and Perth in Gosford. Redo Piscopo. He's been part of a very bright front 4 for the Phoenix, and he's dragged back by Yurtets. Only been on the park a few minutes, and he's in the book.
That's clever play from Piscopo again. Yurtets asking for help. Whilst I'm making ground up from the back, Jonathan Aspro, why aren't you pushing up? And it's really clever play again by Piscopo. Just running across the line of the defender, who then couldn't help himself. Yellow card to boot. Just picked them off magnificently today, Wellington. How impressive.
Western United's 4th caution of this game. Not really gone according to plan for Mark Rudin, to say the very least. A little bit of magic here, potentially from the Mexican, and the points could almost be safe. Davila taps it short for Piscopo. Devlin. Davila. Kakache. Going to drive through a space that wasn't really there. David Ball likewise. Dug out by Diamanti, but then turned immediately back over towards Tim Payne here. He'll ferry it out towards the right-hand side. Slung in towards Kakache, who'd stayed forward.
Well, that was a very protracted work move from the set piece. A few short passes. It's a dangerous ball over the top, which he can't make any imprint on it.
Here's Berisha. First real sight of goal, potentially. Western United's top goal scorer. Game was quickly shot by the Knicks. Minutes left in Ballarat. Aspro, Burgess, Torias. He's got away from Kakache this time and wants to hang it up towards the back post. Payne, not a good defensive header. It's Diamanti, blocked by the defence, and Burgess. Well, they had plenty of power, but no direction.
And they've had enough chances, really. We've already replayed the Scott McDonald one where he forced the save. There's that other excellent save from the fingertip early in the half. And then Diamanti blazes away now. It's Burgess who blazes away. Better chances than the Western players ended up making them look. Completely capable of hitting the target there, if not scoring. And to shoot so wide just shows how anxious perhaps Western United are getting.
Here's the busy Reno Piscopo. David Ball on the right. Only McCowart in the penalty area, joined now by Davila. And that's the goalkeepers. Max Burgess again. Yurtets. Rebounded off Devlin. Easily broken up by the Phoenix. Davila. Steinman shot down effectively by Aspro. Even though the German wanted the foul. Matty Steinman's done a good job again alongside Devlin in those defensive midfield roles. There he is. You might remember a famous game a couple of years back. Hamburg, one of the great old clubs of the Bundesliga, got relegated. Final day of 17-18. He played in that game. A real traumatic moment for one of the true heavyweights of German football. He's giving chase to Bessar Berisha. McDonald. Diamanti. Got away from him, the Italian. Western United quickly back on the ball, though. Torias. Good first touch by Diamanti, but it's a shot with his weaker right foot, and it's wide again.
Well, it's just so important that Diamanti figures heavily in this Western comeback, if it's to be such. And to see his hunger around the penalty area to receive the ball and He forced his way inside the danger zone then and shot instinctively with his right foot.
Well, his team is getting in good positions. So far, the shooting has been pretty lame. Davila. Howard's overcooked that one quite considerably.
That's a waste as well. Scored the second goal. It was an excellent one for the youngster. But that's just to whack the ball across and hope. And I think Wellington are not safe clear yet. They've played excellently, but the goal for Western, if it's to come, it changes everything. And those moments you have to consolidate.
Aspro short. Diamante drives through a gap and sets it up for Skatadis, whose effort is blocked brilliantly by Devlin. Another really crucial piece of play. Skatadis has remained down, injured inside the Wellington penalty area. Play continues upfield. Wellington are aware of the fact that Skatadis needs attention. Sportingly, they've stopped the play.
Well, I think more sportingly, the ref called time for drinks.
Opportune moment, perhaps, to take a breather. And Mark Ruden's got plenty to think about as we head into the last quarter of an hour here in Ballarat. His team has pushed and pushed, but really not able to put any sustained pressure on Stefan Marinovic's goal. And the applause you hear in the background, the attendance has just gone up on the big screen, 5,084, just to repeat that figure. But the stats that matter in terms of the scoreboard are these two goals, Andy Harper.
Well, this first goal, which was a beauty, came on the back of Western United possession, which they turned over. And ball, on the balance of play throughout the season, certainly deserves that goal. And then again, the game turned on a period of real dominance for Western United, but Luke De Vere too strong for Berisha. This is brilliant from Piscopo, just lining up the whole midfield and driving the ball in. And from there, because of that positivity, a favourable bounce for McGowan, who was in the right place at the right time with a very sharp finish. They've looked great, Wellington.
And this is what it will mean if it stays this way. Wellington will return to the top six at the expense of Western Sydney Wanderers, winners in that dramatic game yesterday against Adelaide. And Western United would miss the chance to leapfrog Melbourne City into second. Things starting to bunch up a little bit in positions 3 down to 7. Bessart Berisha's just probably thinking, just give me one chance. He's barely had a sniff today. And more problems looming potentially for Western United as they prepare their first change. And it's the end of the section for Reno Piscopo. Just struggling to see in the glare of the daylight which number had been held up, and it's Reno Piscopo, and he has been excellent today. Claimed an assist for that second goal. But part of the front four, which now includes Hooper, Andy, that has a bit of everything, doesn't it? Trickery, speed, workmanlike qualities in the shape of David Ball. Now Gary Hooper is a proven goal scorer, and of course the trickery of Davila as well.
Yeah, well, Piscopo is really becoming something for the Phoenix. And again, you know, stop doing this, pumping air into his tyres, but Calais has brought these individuals through and together magnificently to this point of the season.
Piscopo, one of those hoping to be in Tokyo in 2020 with the Olyroos. Although he did represent the Italian junior sides, country of his heritage. His work is done. Western United's just beginning. Here's Dylan Parias. Gets away from Ball. Useful cross away by Taylor. Yurtets and Diamante perhaps got in each other's way a little bit.
And you look at this Wellington team, And those players you mentioned, Davila, Piscopo, Devlin for the last 3 games. You're not exactly talking Mark Haitley and Joe Jordan. You know, and it just goes to show if you're good enough, you're big enough, and not daunted by bigger opponents. They're just clever players.
Well, they're the happiest people inside the stadium at the moment.
Well, they're an hour and a half away from the trouble at the MCG, so that will help.
Well, they've made the right decision, haven't they?
Definitely so. They're really enjoying their team. Why not? This is as good a Wellington product as we've seen, I reckon. And they've had finals teams before, which have excited us, but this is really developing nicely.
They will argue they've got the real Tim Payne punch. Slightly different spelling, of course. So the next question is, we are actually watching the only 2 teams in the league now have failed to win a trophy in the A-League era. That's understandable, of course, from Wellington's point of view, or Western United's, as Davila is played onside. It's Ulysses Davila. That should do it. The Mexican seals all 3 points with 10 minutes to go and puts the cap on a really, really professional display by the Wellington Phoenix.
Well, right fullback Dylan Piraeus dragging his heels and keeping Davila onside. You watch this guy play, and still 7 days hence you wonder how he missed from 2 yards last week against Sydney. There's Piraeus, the number 5, keeping Davila onside. Never in a month of Sundays did you ever conceive he was going to miss this. He just set it up beautifully. There was a needle to be threaded, and that's what his left foot does. Fantastic find for Wellington Phoenix. Great contributor to the A-League. And maybe that's the nail in the coffin for Western United here at Ballarat. Never in doubt this. No freezing, no anxiety, just a job to do, and that's slot the ball, and Davila does it beautifully.
His 8th goal of the season for Wellington Phoenix, and isn't he a joy to watch? Well, people from New South Wales call Victorians Mexicans, but it is a real Mexican who has set the seal on this excellent display by Wellington as they make their 2nd change. Tim Payne, who's played his part, takes his leave, and T. Hudson Wahongi is on for just his 2nd appearance for the club. And the point I was about to make when Davila raced through was Wellington have never won a trophy. Western United, of course, haven't. They're only just starting life in the A-League. Could Wellington actually lift some silverware this season? Not beyond the realms of possibility.
Well, they're a long way. We're all a long way from the finishing tape, of course, but honestly, I just couldn't be more impressed with the way this team is developing.
Corner to defend here. Slung in by Diamante, but Berisha can't get on the end of it. Frustrating afternoon for him. Little puff out of the cheeks, sort of accentuates that feeling. Diamante is working as hard as anybody to try and get his team back in the contest, but looks a pretty forlorn hope for Mark Rudden and his outfit at the moment. And here's Gary Hooper showing Jonathan Aspro a clean pair of heels. As they flood forward again, it's Callum McCowart looking to find the angle, shut down by Yurtet. Western United survive that particular raid. We want 4 is the cry from those Phoenix fans. They are loving this. Round 25 in season 16-17, their last win in Victoria. That was at Amy Park against the Victory. Here's Burgess. Is there a lifeline for Western United? Not just yet. ball. Tidy work again. Finding his compatriot, Gary Hooper. Ooh, ball and all. David ball and all.
Well, Durante steams in here. Steamed in there. Ufuk-Talay got his number as well.
And there's a verbal exchange between the Wellington coach and a former Wellington player. It's just frustration. But still it goes on. Kate Jakovic's trying to play peacemaker as we confirm that change again for you. He must be absolutely proud as punch with his team's display today. Particularly as it's the sort of conditions really that I don't get too often in Wellington. There we go. 6 goals in his last 7. Some of those from the penalty spot, to be fair, but still got to be converted.
It doesn't mean you get any less points on the competition table.
Here's David Ball. He's put in another tireless shift.
Look, I don't know if this has been a 4-0 game, Simon. I'm not even sure if it's been a 3-0 game. Western United have had some amazing chances, but that last breakaway a couple of minutes ago, Hooper's such an impressive player, but it's a poor pass out to McGowan. That would have made it 4, I reckon. Everything for McGowan to lose in front of goal if Hooper's pass is a good one. And Western United will have to believe and just get one. Don't look at a 3-goal deficit. Let's just break it for 1, and then maybe they can channel some of the craziness last night in Adelaide.
Darius, again they can't pick out Berisha, who's been starved of service. And the good thing for Western United, their next engagement is the state derby against Melbourne City on the 3rd of January. Players do lift for derby games. That one at Amy Park. I see some are already labelling that the M80 derby. They're pretty quick on the uptake. The Victory Western United game's been labelled the Westgate derby. We'll see if it catches on. 3rd and final change for Western United. Kate Jakovic needs to get a bit more wattage in that scoreboard. Difficult to read the numbers. It's Berisha. He's going to make his way rather sullenly towards the sideline. Mutters a few words under his breath, but it's just not been his or Western United's day.
Well, he's looked in with a good touch, actually, West Berisha. He just hasn't had the service.
So Valentino Ewell is with us. He scored a fair few goals in the NPL for Bentley Greens. How Mark Rudin could do with one now. Might be academic, though, at this late stage.
Well,
Scotardis is fouled by Steinman.
Except that we thought that going into stoppage time in Adelaide last night.
Well, that's true.
Wanderers up 3-1, and then all hell broke loose. And that has to be the focus for Western United. They'll have to believe that this performance, some of their attacks are worthy of at least a consolation. That having secured that goal, if they're good enough to get it, then why not come home with a wet sail?
Here's Dario Yurtex. That was troubling. Stephen Taylor in the way. Forward by Durante. Burgess wouldn't sit forward. They appealed for hands against De Vere. Now Wellington's turn to appeal. Breaks for Valentino Ewell here. Can he find the angle? Oh, that is definitely handball. That is a penalty. And they do have the chance. Luke De Vere with the outstretched arm.
Well, lifeline time. Diamante quick to claim the responsibility. Nice work from Ewell. This is tight, really tight. Needs short steps.
Actually, it's Taylor, isn't it?
What was he thinking?
It's a good save, actually, if you're a goalkeeper.
There's only one problem with that.
Yeah.
That was bizarre.
Gets a booking for it. An own goal last week. Slightly bizarre concession of a penalty this. And we're just a couple of minutes to go, but there will be a chunk of stoppage time. Just maybe opens a window for Western United if they can convert this. I'm sure Mark Rudin is saying how much time to be added on. The clearest case of handball you'll wish to see. Can Diamanti convert? Stefan Marinovic once saved a penalty from Son Heung-min whilst playing for New Zealand. So he's no stranger to stopping these penalty kicks from big players. And he got a hand, I think, to that one, but he couldn't keep it out. Just too powerful. And Western United have one back.
Well, he's worked really hard for that goal. Probably carried or assumed too much of the burden, the skipper, Diamanti. But hang on to your hats. Now, in the controversy that's raged all season about handballs, I'm prepared to concede that Stephen Taylor's arm did not take up a natural position. What's doing there, Steve? I know what's doing here. You know how good a penalty is when the keeper guesses the right way and it still beats them at the post. Great stuff from Diamanti.
It was obviously Stephen Taylor just thinking back to his days in Newcastle and maybe about Pavel Srnicek or Tim Krul or something like that. There's a bit of an argument.
That's all good. It's handball for the attacking team. When they attack something from the ground, it's handball.
Tallow still arguing the toss down on the side.
Well, they thought there was a handball in the scrimmage around the edge of the box to start with.
I must confess that escaped my gaze, but clearly not Ufuk Tallay's. I don't think anybody could have missed Stephen Taylor's. Maybe get another look at that if we can. See what Ufuk Tallay is going on about. We are into stoppage time. 4 minutes to be added.
Well, have they got any blood and thunder in them? Western United.
Well, the ball's just gone up showing 5, so we'll amend that. Maybe for the time taken for the penalty. And the celebrations that ensued, muted as they were.
Well, Western, they've got to push up, they can't afford. There's the handball bouncing off De Vere, bouncing off Burgess. That's what Wellington's complaints are all about. He's still trying to talk his way out of that penalty. Hoarse voice and all. Just a little tip for Uffy. They're not going to change play now for it.
Certainly not 2 minutes later. So is Tallay claiming the ball came off Burgess's hand first?
There was a handball off Burgess. That looked to me like a handball off De Vere as well.
Yeah.
But the ricochet was allowed to go. And unfortunately for Western United, they're just not able to affect anything on the ball at the moment. See how quick their press is to try and turn it around. Not what they needed.
Certainly what Wellington want. And that is a corner, which no doubt they will take all the time they need. Again, the cry, "We want 4," goes up from the Wellington fans. They've had a really good day out here in Ballarat, as we all have. It's been an entertaining game to watch. There's precious little ambition being shown here by the Phoenix, understandable. David Ball wriggles clear and finds somehow Ulises Davila, who is looking to put the cherry on top for Wellington. Back with Hooper, finds the gap for Kakache. Makawa broken down by Dario Yurtats, but Burgess isn't going to reach it ahead of De Vere. Wellington looking to just control these last couple of minutes. They're going to make a change shortly as well once they get the opportunity. Ben Wade is stripped and ready. Wahongi. But over the course of these 93 and almost a half minutes, it's difficult really to pick a fault. That rather needless handball from Stephen Taylor aside in Wellington's performance. The bouncing ball could favour Gary Hooper here, and he got there ahead of the goalkeeper. Jonathan Aspro cannot keep it out, and Wellington do have 4. A quite bizarre goal. Hooper has injured himself in the process. Philip Curto came hurtling out, couldn't reach the ball, and Gary Hooper converts for just his 2nd goal in Phoenix colours. An extraordinary finish by the Englishman.
Well, it's brave, firstly. It's an incredible header, secondly. And any questions on Curto here? Now, he's made a challenge at the ball. Aspro makes a challenge too, but ends up in the net along with the ball. Well, 4-0. That's some amazing work.
Philip Curto caught out. His only consolation is that the result wasn't going to change. The margin of victory does. And Wellington's happy day out has just got a whole lot better, unless we're going to have another VAR intervention late on.
Well, that can only be on the keeper, I'd say, because there's not offside. It's an incredible heading technique. To get that power from that range. Is he offside? Drifts in.
That's the other question. Oh, is Aspro? Yeah.
I reckon his right heel might be slightly breaching that line. Where's the Hawkeye technology? Surely they'll be applying that. If that was the stoppage point when the kick was made.
But the bravery shown here by Gary Hooper.
Oh, it's incredible.
And I'll tell you what, we've seen some brilliant headers.
Offside.
This weekend, not least from Nikolai Muller.
Can we do a sub, please? Now he's played it. We do the sub, please. Sub.
Still the VAR check goes on. No, it is going to be a free kick for Western United, so that goal is rubbed out, which is rather unfortunate for Gary Hooper. Well, it probably looks on the replay as though it's the correct decision. Ben Waine has to wait his turn as we move into the 7th minute of stoppage time. I think we had 11 or even 12 last night in Adelaide. The hot weather and the VAR, we could be here all weekend if this continues over the course of the summer.
Great work from De Vere. He's looked good again. So good to see Luke De Vere playing football. He's way happier about it than us, I'm sure. Such a run. Here we go again.
Now can they get their 4th goal, potentially? Hooper's in position, ball at the far post, Davila in possession. Not this time. And still we go on. Forward by Durante. Dario Yurtets shaping for the shot, and Gary Hooper chased back. That's the final action. It's a really good win for Wellington Phoenix. Revenge for their round 1 loss, and a 7th match unbeaten for the Phoenix as they record just their 4th ever win in Victoria. That's how it finished here in Ballarat. Western United 1, Wellington Phoenix 3. And of course, but for the VAR intervention, that margin of victory might have been even bigger for the Phoenix, who were very, very good all across the park today. Disappointment, by contrast, for Western United on their debut here in Ballarat. Only an Alessandro Diamanti penalty to show for their efforts. A bit below par today. Ufuk Talay again does a job on one of his great mates. Mark Rudan and his team left disappointed, as Western are beaten for the first time since the first day of the month. But it's all about the Knicks. They are back in the 6. And can they push on with their season and perhaps finish even higher? Cameron Devlin was good today. It's difficult to pick a bad player for the Knicks. Let's see who Archie Thompson's got with him for some reaction. Archie.
Yes, we're here with De Vere. What a